Nothing is what it seems and everything hides in shadows, where the streets are dark with something more than night. In this video, we'll take a look at the origins of film noir. I'll include a list of my top 7 favorite films in this genre at the end of the video. The term film noir, which translates from French as black film or dark film, was first used by French critic Nino Frank in 1946 to describe a specific style of Hollywood films. However, this term was largely unrecognized by American film industry professionals at the time. Frank is believed to have drawn inspiration from the French literary publishing imprint Sade Noir, established in 1945. In 1946, Frank and fellow critic Jean-Pierre Chartier wrote 2 film articles that described Hollywood crime dramas from the 1940s as film noir. Frank's article, Un nouveau genre policier, l'aventure criminelle, translated as a new police genre, the criminal adventure, was published in the socialist-leaning film magazine L'écran français in August of 1946. I have a link to the archive of the L'écran français magazine and a link to the issue with Frank's article in it in the description of this video. Frank's article listed rejection of sentimental humanism, the social fantastic, and the dynamism of violent death as being obsessive film noir themes, and called attention to the American proclivity for criminal psychology and misogyny. Frank's article stated that these dark films, these film noirs, no longer have anything in common with the ordinary run of detective movies, and the article reflects the difficulty of finding a suitable label for these dark films. Frank's article states that the noir films belong to what used to be called the detective film genre, but which would now be better termed the crime, or even better yet, the crime psychology film. Jean-Pierre Chartier's essay from November 1946 appeared in the conservative-leaning Revue de Cinéma titled L'Américain aussi font des films noirs. The Americans also make black films, is a translation of that, and criticized what he deemed the common thread of film noir, the pessimism and disgust for humanity. As previously noted, Frank and Chartier's use of the term film noir may have been inspired by Guillemard's series of hard-boiled detective and crime fiction books called the Sade Noir, which included both translated works by American writers and books authored by French writers that were modeled on the U.S. crime novel style. Cinema historians and critics later defined film noir in retrospect. Before the concept gained widespread acceptance in the 1970s, many of the classic film noir works were often categorized as melodramas. There remains an ongoing debate among film scholars about whether film noir should be classified as a distinct genre or viewed as a filmmaking style. Film noir spans a wide variety of plots, but certain archetypal protagonists are frequently featured, such as a private investigator, a plainclothed police officer, an aging boxer, a hapless grifter, a law-abiding citizen lured into a life of crime, a femme fatale, or simply a victim of circumstance. While originally associated with American films, the term has since been applied to productions worldwide. Many films released after the 1960s share characteristics with the classic film noir period and often reference or subvert its conventions. These later works are commonly referred to as neo-noir or nouveau noir. Additionally, the cliches of film noir have been a source of parody since the mid-1940s. Okay, now that we know what film noir is and where it came from, let's have a look at 5 classic noir films and a couple of neo-noir films that I also love. Starting off our list is the oldest of the films, and this one actually predates the term film noir. The Maltese Falcon starts our list off here. 1941, John Huston's directorial debut as a landmark film in the noir genre, renowned for its sharp storytelling and innovative cinematography by Arthur Edson. The film is based on Dashiell Hammett's novel and stars Humphrey Bogart as the tough, cynical private detective Sam Spade. Together, the cinematography and story in The Maltese Falcon contribute to its status as a cornerstone of the film noir genre, combining visual style and narrative complexity to create an enduring classic. Bogart's character has great wit and never takes himself too seriously.
What is it?
The stuff that dreams are made of.
Huh?
At number 2, the 1947 film T-Men, directed by Anthony Mann and lensed by the incomparable John Alton, is a quintessential example of post-war film noir, notable for its gritty realism and meticulous approach to both cinematography and storytelling. The film centers on two U.S. Treasury agents portrayed by Dennis O'Keefe and Alfred Ryder as they infiltrate a counterfeit money operation. The combination of John Alton's atmospheric cinematography and the film's grounded procedural narrative creates a taut, immersive experience that helps shape the noir genre. T-Men is a film that emphasizes the gritty realities of crime fighting where the stakes are high and success often comes at a personal cost. Number 3 in our classic list is the 1947 film Out of the Past, directed by Jacques Tourneur. It is a quintessential film noir that masterfully blends a taut, suspenseful narrative with visually stunning cinematography courtesy of Nicholas Musaraka. The film stars Robert Mitchum as Jeff Bailey, a man with a dark past who becomes entangled once again with dangerous individuals from his former life. The film's moral ambiguity, sharp dialogue, and intricate plotting are typical of the noir genre, and its exploration of the inevitability of fate and the inescapable past elevates it above other films of the time. The tragic ending reinforces the idea that the characters are powerless to escape their doomed paths. Out of the Past is a film that excels in both its visual style and its storytelling. Musaraka's cinematography heightens the atmospheric tension, while the narrative expertly weaves together a complex web of deception, regret, and inevitability, making it a standout example of 1940s film noir. 1953's Pickup on South Street comes in at number 4 on our list, directed by Samuel Fuller, one of my favorite directors. The film is a taut, gritty film noir that blends suspense, crime, and Cold War espionage with Fuller's signature hard-hitting style. The film stars Richard Widmark as Skip McCoy, a petty thief who unknowingly comes into possession of stolen government documents, and Jean Peters as Candy, a woman with a murky past who gets caught up in the intrigue. Lensed by Joseph McDonald, Pickup on South Street is a classic example of noir filmmaking. It combines expertly crafted cinematography with a tight, suspenseful narrative. The film's atmospheric use of shadows and reflections heightens a sense of paranoia, while its exploration of the moral complexities of its characters and the perils of espionage creates a compelling, fast-paced story. It remains a standout work in the noir genre, defined by Fuller's unique directorial style and the film's thematic depth. Rounding out our list of 5 noir films is The Big Combo from 1955, directed by Joseph H. Lewis, and the second film in our list to be lensed by John Alton. It's a stylish and dark film noir that stands out for its innovative cinematography and tightly wound narrative. The film follows a determined police lieutenant portrayed by Cornell Wilde as he tries to take down a ruthless gangster, Mr. Brown, played by Richard Conte, whose crime syndicate controls much of the city's underworld. The Big Combo is a masterclass in both cinematography and storytelling. The moody atmospheric lighting and inventive visual techniques create an intense sense of danger, while the tight, suspenseful narrative keeps the viewer engaged until the very end. It remains a standout example of the 1950s film noir genre, combining striking visuals with a gripping exploration of crime, obsession, and morality. Moving on to the neo-noir subgenre of film noir, let's look at the film Chinatown, released in 1974. Directed by Roman Polanski and lensed by both John A. Alonzo and Stanley Cortez, the latter of which is uncredited, it's a modern classic that reinvigorates the noir genre, combining its moody atmosphere and complex characters with a sharp critique of corruption and power. The film stars Jack Nicholson as Private Detective J.J. Gittes and Faye Dunaway as Evelyn Mulray, whose tangled lives intersect against the backdrop of a sprawling conspiracy in Los Angeles. The film's conclusion, with its sense of hopelessness and the inability to right wrongs, reinforces the noir tradition of moral ambiguity and existential despair. Chinatown is a masterpiece of both cinematography and storytelling. Alonzo and Cortez's atmospheric cinematography and the film's tightly woven narrative create an immersive experience that explores themes of power, corruption, and human frailty. By combining classic noir elements with a contemporary setting and a deep, tragic plot, Chinatown remains a defining work in the crime thriller genre. As a slight spoiler, I had seen this film about 4 times and then saw an interview with the film's screenwriter Robert Towne. I'd always wondered what Chinatown really had to do with the story, since only the end of the film takes place briefly in Chinatown. Towne said he was interviewing a cop for research and asked where the cop had worked, and he said Chinatown. When Towne inquired as to what the cop did in Chinatown, the cop said, "Not much." He explained that since there were so many different gangs or tongs as well as Chinese dialects, the cops could never figure out if they were preventing crime or enabling it, so they just kept their hands off. So it turns out Chinatown is a state of mind.
Forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown.
Our final film in today's look at film noir is 1997's L.A. Confidential. Directed by Curtis Hanson and lensed by Dante Spinotti, this is a modern neo-noir that deftly combines the classic elements of the genre with a compelling and intricate narrative. Set in 1950s Los Angeles, the film explores the intersection of corruption, power, and morality through the lives of 3 very different LAPD officers. It stars Kevin Spacey, Russell Crowe, and Guy Pearce, whose characters are drawn into a complex web of crime, scandal, and deceit. L.A. Confidential combines excellent cinematography with a richly layered story that stands out in the neo-noir genre. Spinotti's atmospheric visuals enhance the film's exploration of the darkness beneath the surface of 1950s Los Angeles, while the sharp, intricate narrative keeps the audience engaged with its twisty plot and morally ambiguous characters. The film remains a modern classic, blending the best of classic noir with a contemporary sensibility. Okay, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something here, and if nothing else, maybe you discovered a noir that you weren't familiar with. Please click like on the video if you would be so kind, and until the next video, take care.
Have you a valediction, boyo?
Rollo. Tomasi.